Right, the real proper success story of the local elections this past week wasn't the Labour Party gains, despite which hasn't seen them move in the polls at all particularly, but the Green surge, of course. I know what you're thinking, Damo, you're a Green, of course you're going to big them up, to which I'll say, sure, fair point. But where else do they get much media attention anyway? Ignored again, despite their record-breaking success this past week on the Sunday morning media programmes today. And besides, it's a fat old claim I can back up right now. I can gloat a little bit. Aha! The Green Party made the biggest proportional gains going. They increased their number of councillors by 100%, having started the day with 240 councillors and ending it with 481, doubled in a single election. They quadrupled, as it happens, the number of local councillors they've got over the last 4 years. So their success is only accelerating. This isn't a new sudden phenomena. It's been building up. And here's a handy chart showing just that acceleration. Funny enough, that hard upwards turn you can see just there just happens to have coincided with Keir Starmer coming in as leader of the Labour Party, and certainly the Greens are taking the fight to Labour as they've got their sights set on Bristol to get their second Green MP elected. Standing there as co-leader of the Greens, Carla Denyer, looking to oust Labour's Thangham Debbonnaire come the next general election. But the thing with the Greens' success is they aren't just taking votes from Labour areas, they're giving the Tories a pasting on their turf too, and in areas long established as Tory through and through. This set of local elections alone, the headline figures, the seats won, they don't tell the story behind it all. Take Mid Suffolk, for example. This is the bit you may have seen on the news. This was arguably the biggest win for the Green Party on the night. But that doesn't do it entirely the justice it deserves. It's a bit of an injustice, actually, because they've not just taken majority control of a council administration for the first time ever in the UK, but this will be the first time it's ever happened for a Green Party anywhere in the Northern Hemisphere. And in fact, it's apparently only the second time it's happened globally after a suburban council in Melbourne, Australia, I believe. That's how monumentous an achievement this is, not just for the Green Party of England and Wales, but the global Green movement too. And they did it in absolutely rock-solid style. You'd think, Tory territory. My goodness, it's as safe can be. Mid Suffolk is home to the leafy towns that we associate with Tory voters, the likes of Stowmarket or Needham Market, and interspersed by your typical kind of chocolate box villages, with 2 Tory MPs, each with majorities in the 20,000s, and the Greens have taken overall control of that district council, ousting the Tories as the largest party. The Greens going from 12 to 24 councillors on a 34-seat council, whilst the Tories slid from 16 to just 6. Lifelong Tory voters have switched to the Greens. They've lost faith in the Tories. They fear for the future. They're sick of the scandals. They want to try something new, and the Greens offered that and did better than many of their new voters could possibly believe. Something to build on for sure. Everybody likes to back a winner, don't they? But it wasn't an isolated example of Green success either. Still in Suffolk, the Greens also became the largest party on Bayberg District Council, gaining 6 seats, bringing them up to 10 councillors, one ahead of the independents there. In East Suffolk, they gained an incredible 11 councillors, where before they had just 5, bringing them up to 16 and becoming the largest party there too, ahead of the Lib Dems. Moving upwards into East Hertfordshire, again leafily, rural, solid Tory territory, the Greens went from having 1 councillor to 19 and became the largest party on the council, a council the Tories have only lost control of briefly once since 1945. The Tories lost 27 councillors there in one go, with the remainder again split between the Lib Dems and Labour. In any other year, this might have been the biggest story of the night, only overshadowed, of course, by that majority win in Mid Suffolk. Folkestone and Hythe saw the Greens becoming the largest party, going from 6 councillors to 11. This is Kent, as they also dumped the former Tory leader of that council out of his seat, along with it, and stripping the rancid party of council control. Lewis and Sussex, home of the Levellers, the band, that is, rather than the movement, saw the Greens again dump out a Tory administration to become largest party, though that really doesn't rub it in enough, because not only were the Tories knocked out of control, but they were completely wiped out full stop. There's no longer a single Tory councillor on Lewis Council. There is, however, 17 Greens. The Forest of Dean District Council once had 6 Greens. It now has 15. The Tories there have been reduced to just 4. The Greens also became the largest party on Warwick Council, gaining 6 new councillors, bringing them up to 14. The Tories again losing out, dropping 13 to just 6 councillors. This is reflected up and down the country again and again as Greens made massive inroads into the Tory vote. And this is the thing I think that stands out most regarding the Greens surge. It's been played down again by the media. Perhaps if the Greens renamed themselves UKIP, they'd get some attention. In 2016, UKIP won 166 council seats, but no councils, and the BBC described this as an earthquake. This time, they've been finally wiped out everywhere. They no longer have a single councillor. The Greens win control of a council and 481 seats and are still being completely ignored. So if you want to know who the establishment are truly afraid of, look at who they're not paying any attention to. A Green surge has very much come to pass despite the media's silence, and that has shown the Greens are capable of taking ground off any party. The Tories were the easy target here, but they and the Lib Dems took ground off the Tories and that of Labour. If they were heading for power, if Labour were heading for power, if they were offering transformative policies for change, they ought to have been soaking up all of these votes, but they didn't. People are genuinely looking for an alternative right now, whatever wing of politics you stem from. And actually, where you have Conservative voters fearing for the future, the environmental credentials of the Greens is cutting through, whereas with others, it is the social justice messaging that has cut through instead. Where establishment parties only promise more pain, lack of investment, more austerity and effects, the Greens would invest and able to do so via a wealth tax. Tuition fees would be scrapped. The NHS would have private healthcare phased out, not more of it phased in, a £15 per hour minimum wage, renationalised utilities, universal basic income so all our basic needs are met, no more cracking down on refugees as if they're to blame for our woes, because they aren't. It's the people we keep voting in, and people are sitting up to this, waking up to the truth of all of these matters, the cruelty not sitting well with us, not being very British, as it abundantly isn't. There is a better way. There are better options. There's so much more in the way of decent, honest, common sense policy to come. More and more on their website that you can read. More and more general election targets are being flagged up now by these local elections because these are now viable, winnable target areas. We're never getting this country back on its feet by voting Tory or Labour when nothing changes, regardless of which of the two of them is in power. Nothing ever changes in our interests. We have to expand our horizons. We've seen what happens when people do just that. The Greens are now the anti-establishment vote, and they'll take on anybody, any party, anywhere from the city suburbs to the rural countryside. Seems like a great time to join and be part of it. Thanks for watching. If you appreciated this video, please do hit like and subscribe, leave a comment and hit the notification bell too so you don't miss the next one. Also look out for me on social media and other interesting stuff by clicking on the Linktree link in the comments below, and I will see you next time. Cheers folks.